What up, all my hoodlums, hooligans, knuckleheads, players and pimps, slaves and simps, hoes and freaks, nerds and geeks, strippers and tippers, thugs and gorillas, soldiers and kings, goddesses and queens, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, niggas and bitches, and you sophisticated motherfuckers alike. Welcome to Hip Hop's biggest fan.
Yeah, man.
And today, man, I got the man, the myth, the legend, Young Bleed motherfucking Corleone.
Absolutely. Salute. What's good with you good people? How you doing, my brother?
I'm wonderful. It's already a pleasure and a treasure. You know, I've been a fan since 1997.
Yes, sir. Way back when.
Yes, sir. And I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. You know, I'm right from near DC.
Okay, you know, I lived up there for about a year in Virginia. I still got partners in Baltimore and DC, man. All through there. About a year. Yes, sir.
From my understanding, you lived a little bit everywhere. I was like, man, this man been everywhere. Oh my God.
41 states at least a weekend, you hear me?
Right.
Yeah, some years at a time, months at a time, depending on the situation. Yeah,
yes,
but a lot of, man, short time. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm trying to think where to begin. Fuck it. I'm gonna begin with like the now, and then I kind of wanna, I don't know what you wanna call it, what they call it, like reverse engineer this shit. That's what they call it.
Yeah, there you go. I'm with that.
Your most recent project you dropped earlier this year, I believe April, was Dad Is a God.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah.
Something I noticed about it, like maybe after I listened to it, maybe like my second and a half time, I'm like, hold up, man.
Yeah.
It's just the clean version. Like he ain't got I can't recall too much cussing in it.
Hey, I appreciate you recognizing, man. Actually, that album is inspired by the COVID time, and I was watching what was going on in the world and everybody dying. And the one thing I want to remind people of is say, hey, man, you know, minus the doctors and everything else, don't forget God, stay prayed up. So it's the first time I did what I consider a peer record. And guys have been telling me for years, you know, do something, or either my mother, that's kind of in the direction of kind of not aiming at Christian rap, what we call ghetto or gangster gospel. Still being yourself, hooded up, but we still love and respect the Lord. And in hard times and in good times. So I wanted to remind the world of that, and everybody that was taking a glimpse of me and wondering what my thoughts and what I was thinking in those times and how was I surviving. That record defined it, you know what I mean? Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any particular song on the album that you feel delivers that message of the album overall best?
The lead single is called That Water. And you know, all the way back to Hurricane Katrina or whatever kind of water catastrophe, but in real life, spiritual water. Everybody dips off in that water. We all been baptized, you know what I mean? And whatever you baptized in. So that you know, it's a lot of records on there, the whole record, like I said in particular, but that's for starting. Let everybody know that we all one the same and one alike, man. Going through the same struggle for just, you know what I mean, being baptized in the funk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Can you elaborate for some people some of the features that you have on there, and even also who done some of the production on your album?
Okay, absolutely, man. Shouts out to my man Teller out there in Alabama. He produced the majority of that record. My cousin Brent Dixon with Divided Souls. Who am I missing? Free C Murder, main guy. President of True Records by the name of Cutboy G De Niro. Rest in peace to my man Glennis Martin from the group 7 Mile back in Detroit back in the days.
Oh, word.
In the last recent years was a good friend of mine when I lived up in the Detroit area. So he featured my man Twan out of Chicago, you know, the Black Disciples and so on and so forth. So and far as mainstream and just world renowned, Big Mike of the Ghetto Boys and the Convicts, rest in peace 3-2.
Oh, word.
A few other features throughout the record. What's my man? My other producer, man, partner. I can't call his name right now. I don't want to say the wrong thing. But just off the whim, that'll come to me in a second. But yeah, it's few underground and up and coming guys. You know, I keep a foot in the underground and, you know, a hand toward and in the mainstream. Collective wise, that was the chemistry. And that was just the vibe, you know. I locked in for months and did that record. I really had, I had a few other records scheduled to come out, but that was the inspiration for the vibe of the world I felt at the time. You know what I mean?
Okay. Because from my understanding, I want to say, was it in 2021 you dropped the EP, Signs and
Wonders.
Signs and Wonders. Thank you. I was about to fuck it up. All right, Signs and Wonders. That was like what was it, six, seven joints?
About 7 joints. Really a prequel to that album, not knowing how the world was gonna change.
Right.
And I want to say right before that record, shouts out to my man KD the Stranger out there in the Ukraine, man. We didn't know everything that was taking place. Of course, he lived there.
Right.
Never been to the States. I never been there. So we got a record that's on YouTube, Spotify, etc. That's called Americranium. It's about a 4-song maxi single. And all the significance of what just developed over that time. Now go back and play Signs and Wonders, Americranium, then into There Is a God. You know, I'm like Jimi Hendrix. I go with what's in the atmosphere at the time.
No,
yeah.
I want to say I learned that. Like, oh, okay, this was like the appetizer to the meal.
Right, but this the thing about the Americranium. I had no conception of that. So when you hear the songs like War Song, Anarchy, Course of Life, and Only in America, and how he raps in the Ukrainian Russian language, you know what I mean? We talk good enough English, you'll say a few English words. But that diversity, you see what I'm saying? Within that time, we dropped that record maybe a month prior, 3 weeks prior to that war jumping off, and with no concept and conversation. I wasn't even in tune to the news to know that was taking place. So when we dropped and I looked back, it was like, oh shit. So, you know, shouts out to my man. I checked on him recently. I'm gonna check on him again to make sure he's still surviving over there. But yeah.
Okay, so because he's still over there.
He lived there. He never been in the States.
Wow.
And he's a phenomenal artist, man. I remember Strange when I was over there with Tech Nine and those guys were finna sign him at the time. So he's just one of the unsigned Beyond the Hype, man, out the Ukrainian section, man, to look to war, man. Dangerous on that microphone, man.
That's fucking remarkable. I'm gonna say this. We listening to I've been listening to your catalog all night.
Yes, sir. Right on.
As much as I could consume, right?
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna say it's just in my opinion, as a fan, as an observer,
yes,
you are highly spiritual. You speak of God and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's a lot.
Yes,
you know,
indeed.
and I get that. So, you know, and I'm also a person that doesn't believe in coincidence. So what you're telling me about your partner that's in Ukraine, how everything fall together, I just sit back and be like, who knew?
Yeah, right. That part. Yeah, that part.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So yeah, definitely. So on that whole, yeah, you know, I could break down. It's a long story. And it's just been my travel. When I do a record, it's like a pickup where I left off last. You know, the next chapter to be continued. So I just go with what's happening with my life. I give you a briefing of my past and bring you up to where I'm at currently into the next episode. So those, you know what I mean, within the last 3-year pattern with the COVID and all that, yeah, that was in the atmosphere. So, you know, and where we go from here. But yeah, man, I look back and be, you know what I mean, not just blowing my own horn and never, but just what God give you in the transformation and the translation at the time, the music and the words and how everything coincides, the circle of people. And like I say, look at the difference and the distance between here and the Ukraine. Who would ever know? We've been partners well over 10 years or so. And just, I never been in the Ukraine. He never been here. And we'll make records here and there for each other projects and different things. But this the first time we was in a perfect setting to complete a project. You see what I'm saying? A me and him project, yeah. So it's phenomenal how, like I say, what we all been witnessing the world change. You know what I mean? 3 years ago with this COVID shit.
Yeah.
And then everything else. So everything is about that. You know, there is a God. Keep your focus on that. And let's get through this and see where it goes. You know.
Yes, sir. Just popped in my mind. How does it feel now? You know, when you first started, you've been rapping for 40 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
You've been recording and putting out work for 30 years.
Yes, sir.
You've seen this transition from analog to digital to super. I'm gonna call this shit super digital. And the fact that you can record with a motherfucker I've never met, that is halfway across the fucking world.
Right.
We have to be in this same space at this same time, almost, or at least we both have to come here physically and do it. Mm-hmm. How does that feel as an artist? Like, what is your feelings about this transition of the whole recording process?
In one sense, it's a lot of ways surprising, but in another sense, it's not so surprising. Like I say, I'm old school into the new, and whatever you want to call it now. And growing in a lot of those transitions from the 70s into the 80s to the 90s to what's taking place here again now. Yeah, I can tell you certain, you preaching to the choir, certain different other ways that we had to record, let alone mailing a reel-to-reel, a DAT tape or whatever, you know what I mean? Versus that push of a button, you know what I mean? Universal. Right. Like, yeah, it's a whole nother, and I'm glad for the game, but saying that to say this, I remember Roger Troutman, rest in peace, Computer Love. I remember Max Headroom, you know what I mean? When we was talking about a digital virtual world and now it's here. You see what I'm saying? Long time ago, you know what I mean? I remember Computer Lit, we had one computer. Now, you know what I mean? Kids got tablets, laptops, phones. Yeah, it's crazy.
I want to say this, our phone, this everything. You like it's just
whole world. Yeah, the whole world in your hand, man, by the power of a phone. So.
Yeah, the phone and the calculator may be the smallest attribute to the fucking phone. Like, this is a little pocket computer.
Right, exactly. Pocket computer. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Let me think. Well, I'm like I said, for those of you that don't know, this man has been rapping since he was 9 years old.
Yeah, man.
Writing since he was 9.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
From me hearing your story, me doing my research, you being a artist or being into music is like preordained.
Yeah, absolutely. That part. Yeah.
Y'all, this man, he pretty much, to me, from my understanding, he was nurtured in the womb with music and rhyme and rhythm and poetry.
Exactly that. Yeah, R.A.P.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Man. Definitely.
So, man, it's just like another thing. This man has had a DJ or been rapping since he was like 10, 11 years old. I'm sitting here like, yo, who the fuck has a DJ at 11 years old? Like,
real shit, true hip hopper, man. Real hip hop head, and I was blessed to be born and raised around other guys that had that vibe and being at that distance. And we talking Louisiana, New York at the time before it exploded on the West Coast.
Right.
And the time I come in 78, 79, Sugar Hill Gang and everything else that was popping on the East that we all, across the country and the world had to follow. So with that type of love and keep connection, you see what I'm saying? Every day, having that dream, it was guys that lived on the street, around the corner, so we could walk to each other's house, swap records, go to each other's back room. So coming home after school to me seeing Rap City or something of that nature, Yo MTV Raps on Saturdays.
Yes, sir.
Reflections of my life, but in the South. With what I call backroom boys, you know what I mean?
Okay.
We were creating. If I was writing and doing what I was doing, my homie around the way had a chess turntable that his parents or grandparents had. He used to scratch and transform with a knife before mixers, and so we had to figure different ways to develop that sound that we was hearing and loving, you know what I mean? And so far, so good. So yeah, that part. Yeah, man.
What was your personal first recollection that you could recall of hearing anything that was distinctly hip hop? Was there any particular song or tape? Because like you said, if you're talking about 70s, like you said, like the Sugar Hill Gang was, I guess, the first what they say commercial song. But before that, if you could get your hands on them tapes that them folks was recording of New York, that's like what it was before they was ever really recording actual songs. Oh shit.
Yo.
Yeah, all right. It was spinning for a second.
Yeah, it froze up. But look, I got where you was going, and you correct me where I might be wrong. I was heading in that direction myself. In particular, man, I had a cousin by the name Donald Morris, we called Panuni. So every year ever since a kid, they had a family connection. I got family in New York and got yet to be to New York. You know what I mean? But
Right.
Benoni will take him to New York every summer. And what he'll do is take a Maxwell or Maxell or a TDK tape and go really record Kiss FM for me. Rest in peace to Mr. Magic and my brother, Mr. Magic from No Limit. But old school Mr. Magic, Red Alert and Marley Marl, and record really what I call the mixtape, or what the original mixtape. So all they mixes on the radio, he'll bring them back to me in the South. MC Shan, them, the birth of that, Rakim and all them guys. So hearing that, being that type of DJ guy, we had records, well, you know, guys wouldn't know what I'm talking about nowadays, where it's, you know, it's grooves on one side and it's flat on the other side. So now for sale records, it got break beats, it got sound effects. So we had that type of shit young. So hearing that mixture, and from some of the best DJs and OG artists to do it in New York, I had that directly with him just sitting in whatever they recorded after school. You know, and whenever they play it, being at the summertime. But saying to say this, he'll bring me those tapes. So when I battle guys at school, I could take some of them rhymes. I had to take MC Shan rhyme. Me and Shan met recently on the phone. I let him know that my love and respect for MC Shan, the Juice Crew, and so on and so forth. Just that love for hip hop, and learn to craft myself on into Run DMC, LL, whoever at the time. So I, you know, to those guys, for us in the South, you know, and anybody else, they was guards, still guards of rap. You know, kind of like Egypt to the rest of Africa. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I looked at it. Just when you saying rock to that degree, I'm listening to your period and who really gonna walk that straight line and not be contradictory. You know what I mean? And when we talking that time and some of those guys are still here, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm still on that same path. So, and that reflection, yeah, is a reconnection. You know what I mean? We looked at it like that. So, and to bring it all into that, yeah, long time that play, man. But definitely, but hearing that, you know, versus what you hear commercial music, and they might play the same popping ass pop song, which is nothing wrong with that. That's, you know, that's life, industry, and business. You know what I mean? No clicks. But to hear that raggedy rough shit in the back room being mixed by other beats and shit you'll never hear unless you go to a live concert and they doing something. That kind, I'm a back room boy when it comes to hip hop like that. Where we didn't have basements in the South, at least in Louisiana. But just to hear that texture and that, you know, I was a drama as a kid. So I love, you know, the rhythmic form, you know, when we was talking RIP rhythm and poetry being rap. You know, that bounce off the wall kind of backroom shit that wasn't commercial. I'm a guy that always loved the rough B-side song. I like the commercial one to give me the A-side song, get my attention.
Right.
But I'm looking for the hardcore song that's on a hip-hop record. And back then, your voice and your heart being the core there without instruments. So that construction of rhyme, I love to hear that. So that was my whole, you know what I mean, birth into it, getting those tapes back to the tapes. Yeah.
Man, that's some of the realest shit ever. You ain't lying, bro. Like,
and that feeling, that vibe, it's like a space signal, and exactly what it is. You know, the more we get, you know, interplanetary,
right.
You know what I mean? But it's really a signal, man. And just, you know, from Indians to anybody else, music, you know, joints and, you know, life and psychic, so on and so forth. So that was like a call of the wild. Oh, shit, everything in the world. Oh, this got something to do with my connection. So I followed the pathway of living so far, here again, so good. It did.
Yes, sir. Something that we have in common. I'm going to say two things.
Yes, sir.
I'm a June Gemini as well. You were born in June.
Okay. What day?
June 10th.
10th. You 4 days after me. I'm the 6th.
Yeah, you are the 6th. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Another thing, I just wanted to shout that out. Shout out to all my June Geminis. They say we crazy. Fuck it. Yes, we are.
Yes, sir. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, you can get with this or get with that. Yeah, do with your weapon, that part. Yes, sir.
Also, from my understanding.
Yeah, man.
Rakim is one. Mm-hmm. But you see, I got to rock him up here, the paid in full joint.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. I just from the South City records in the background. Inside my wall used to be all records, posters, rap pages, big LL, radio, and all that shit, 2 turntables, man, in the back room. Yes, sir.
Rakim, one of your favorite MCs. Is there any particular favorite Rakim song or verse you'd like to share with us?
I can go through a gang of them, but like I said, as far as the hardcore and just hearing word for word, I listen to lyrics like I'm grading a text.
Okay.
If it's 9 out of 10, it's 9 out of 10. I wouldn't have said that at this last line. That one word, I'm a drummer, so that one rhythm, one wrong hit, fuck, he shouldn't have did that. Rise one of the few that I could say shit. And I'm satisfied.
10 out of 10. I'm with you.
Soulfully satisfied. So that song, that was my trigger as a kid. We all like everything on the Paid in Full album. And then into the what's the second album, man? Shame on Let the Rhythm. Was it Let the Rhythm Here? No, Follow the Leader.
Yeah,
Follow the Leader. So my favorite shit on that was Lyrics of Fear.
Okay.
Like Black Bruce Lee lyrically and period. No motherfucking shit goddamn, but torture and lyrical torture and the core and yeah, his cadence. Yeah, oh man, that's shit. Yeah, slaughter on that microphone. That ain't what you, yeah. So,
yeah,
you know, I learned a lot from rap. I used to emulate LL as a kid, like I say, sharing all them days, witnessed all the battles from afar, and just that love for hip hop. Hip hop is like, it's like boxing. It's like a sport. You know what I mean? You know, may the best man win, minus the hate and the plex. You know, different shit. But those high kind of vocalists, I strain my throat. You know what I mean? When I finished mimicking as a kid, Rock taught me. I learned from Rock just to speak. You see what I'm saying? And let the microphone be the amplifier. And you can take your time and speak and go with the flow of things. So I'm that, yeah.
Now you saying that. Okay, I get your tone, your draw, I get it now.
Yeah, I respect one of the masters of the game who me and Rod never met, just and from a mental standpoint. You see, you know what I mean? As a kid, I'm listening to that. I'm listening to the greatest guys to ever do it. Best anywhere I can get hip hop on into the West, into the South, and everywhere else. So we gumbo pot down here. You know what I mean? Whoop gang. So that's the whole thing. So, but that being one of the pivots where I found it. Okay, this is my glitch. I don't have to do this, that, and the other, but stay focused and formulate my words and vocabulary, so on. The DOC is one of the greatest.
Man. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, man. God's in the game. Yeah, God's in the game, man.
I'm going to just say this, man. If that brother didn't have his accident,
hip-hop probably wouldn't be where hip-hop is to this day. This before pop. You see what I'm saying? For those that don't know.
This 1989, 1990.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the greatest to do it. That missing link to the game.
At all.
No. Clear, pure, same lyrical torture. Real OG gangster shit. But in the way you gonna go, man. Yeah, from the South to LA. We learned later he was from the South, but just that perfection and the chemistry and the music him and Dre had, the right shit, hand in glove, the doctor. Come on, man. That shit we wanted to hear forever. Jimi Hendrix on record, lyrically.
Yeah.
Different, yeah. So like I said, I can't put it in a box and narrow it down to one person, one thing no more. You know
I know, but I just kind of said that because I know Rakim is in my top 3.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
All the time. This motherfucker's in my top 3 all the time. That shit don't waver. That shit don't change. And I also do love and respect the way, from my understanding, I like to do it by era.
Yes, sir.
Because otherwise it's not fair. It's like motherfuckers when they compare basketball players and shit like, dog, this motherfucker played in the 80s.
Steph Curry, man. That's 2 different worlds, 2 different times. The game was played. Come on, man. You got to go with the time. I agree with that too. Yeah.
So, okay. Another question. As you coming up, falling in love with hip hop, you doing your thing. What was it like to your recollections of growing up in Baton Rouge in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s? What was it like?
Family life, ghetto life, you know what I mean? A lot of love and struggle, beautiful people, beautiful family. But, they call Louisiana the dream state. And you learn the level of the economics down here, you know what I mean? The poverty level, so on and so forth. So you can dream forever till you dead and gone, or you got to try to pursue some type of dream to have a future life. Life ain't free. Kids don't know that. They run on the playground playing, and you know what I mean? But they don't know yeah, what it is when you really get out here and really got to support yourself. So fast life and just adapting to what was in the environment, to sit in the neighborhood, and just, God gave me something that was just music thing, that was the focus. I was talented in sports and all that type of thing. I tried my different ways, but this the one thing that kind of claimed me and stuck with me. And then different elements of music. See, my penmanship would come forth between 8 and 9 years old. But before that, drama and, I tinker around with other instruments because my family was musically inclined, from the church to blues to all that, granddaddy, grandmama, mama, sisters, uncles, and all that type of thing. So I was always in that world, you know what I mean? Whoever else played records, the right records, I was the kid that was keen and open to those signals. So after a while, it defined me, you see what I'm saying? So that became my glitch on this music thing overall. So like the pivot of an arrow or a spear, something like that. That's the key point. But everything else was pretty much like everywhere else. Sex, money, and murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even up, all around. In
Yes,
the
sir.
city. Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. I got a million questions. Hold on. I'm trying to do this shit in order because I wrote none of this shit in order. Okay. I'm gonna try to take it to once you kind of started recording yourself, and even a little bit before that. As I said, when you were 11 years old, you had a DJ. From my understanding, it was C Loc, correct?
Nah, it's before him.
Oh, before him?
Yeah. Rest in peace to my cousin Adrian Cato, man, DJ AD.
Oh.
Yeah, he was about 2 years older than me, so if I was 11, he was 13.
Okay.
But he had already. That's what taught me to plug up mixers and run the crossfader, up faders, and just run a hole. When Radio Shack was still around, my first realistic mixer.
Yeah.
And reverbs and shit like that. He was a party type of DJ, like a GQ on Juice. He really made tapes and sold tapes in middle school for parties and house parties we used to go to. And if he was the DJ, minus the turntable playing the tape with a mic plug, I'll be next to them somewhere, in the corner. I'll rock the house parties, young, rapping. But yeah, he was my first DJ when I was 11 years old, man. My cousin, rest in peace, he passed away in the last recent years as well.
My condolences.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah. So C Loc came after that, but y'all was still in like middle school or some shit like that.
Right. He might have come through after maybe about between maybe my fourth and fifth DJ.
Oh, word. Okay, dang. Wow.
I had them kind of partners, man, you know what I mean, that love that shit like me.
Right.
And some of them rapped a little bit, just, didn't become the poster child I became for Baton Rouge. But, it wasn't just me rapping the corner and they just pulled me out of here. It's niggas that I sparred with for life, from elementary school on to middle school, battles, the same kind of shit. You know what I mean? Some dead and gone, young age, wild, and the streets wild them out here. That's Baton Rouge.
Right.
Struggle and strife, but that type of thing. So, yeah, I had a series with DJ, my DJ Ballet, Bound Bound from Round the Way. DJ Chia later on, one of my cousins, my partner and beloved brother, Lefty Carleon, was used to be Kid Kane, so somewhere between, the time, I know definitely C Loc in middle school, so somewhere about 12 years old.
Okay.
So maybe even third, but we really never recorded records. Me and AD had records in the studio when I started recording at 11.
Wow.
Yeah, I started recording. Actually, real to real, rest in peace to Tommy Jefferson, was one of the only home studios that we can go to in the city.
Right.
Home in the projects that told me, hey man, shit, I used to rap in the projects on 17th and 16th Street. And one of my homies, Black, is the particular thing about him. He was between me and Yo Cup. Had some hazel, some green eyes, pretty boy. Project OG, he was older than me at the time. He ran with my older cousins, so I'd be with them and, mimicking turntables. They'll think I was, retarded. Hey, man, what is he doing? My cousin explained, he hear music in his head all the time. I was a kid. But Black said, man, you want to make some music, man? I know a studio. And he turned me on to Tony Jefferson, rest in peace, Glen Oak. And I made my first recording about 11, and AD was there and all that. We produced our own beat, scratched a little bit on the record, and was just learning how to record between the reel-to-reel 4-track tape. So we go way back to that and listening to the 8-track before that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Way back, yeah, man.
Damn, something just popped in my mind and damn, it escaped me that quick. Whatever. It's all right. Yo, you recorded your first song at 11?
11, yeah. Yeah, about 11. Yeah.
Daddy, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I don't think that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
you ain't normal.
Yeah. I mean, well, a lot of people, you know what I mean? I could say I don't blow my own horn, but just saying, just, you know, true life and just timeline, you know, in that sense. And just when I look at that now, you know, yeah, it's like, okay, when you growing up, you don't know what you in and what you really doing.
Right.
To back like we talking about now, so many years later. But yeah, about 11 was my first recording. I've been recording ever since. You know what I mean? Crazy.
I remember that. Do you happen to remember your first rhyme? When you were like 8, 9 years old?
No, I can't tell you that exactly.
I know it would sound crazy because you're a grown man and you talking about I'm spitting single-digit rhymes, but I'm just asking. I just had to ask.
That's the thing. About 8 years old when I started writing about 9. I could freestyle about 8.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could freestyle before I could write. I had to learn how to grab my words out the sky. If the tongue twister, however, I had to learn how to write that on paper to read it tomorrow to know how to say it.
Right.
If you record and you don't know how, just out the air, you can't repeat it again, especially a freestyle.
Real shit.
So my very first, I had no idea because 9 times out of 10 it was a freestyle. You know what I'm saying? And then I started writing shit in elementary school, 4th grade, you know, poetry class, just small shit to whatever. So it's a lot before I even, you know, started to develop. I ain't like my voice for years, you know what I mean? The public made me finally say, okay, you see what I'm saying?
We like it. We like your voice. Yeah.
Good
yes,
look.
Sir. Okay. To move along with it a little bit, I guess by the time 1990 something hit, you ran back across C Loc.
Yeah, man.
And
like
from my understanding, you were doing your own thing. Yeah, you said you had been recording, you had been making your own tapes, and he had developed his own record company or label.
Yeah.
And he was doing his own thing. Y'all got together. You started writing for him. Like, people don't know, this man is a ghostwriter as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a ghostwriter, but he's a writer. He can write a song for you, and ladies down, because his pen been going on since 9 years fucking old.
Yeah, all of the above. Yes, sir. That part. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, from my understanding, he was putting out an album. You helped him work on it, and then he kind of put out the compilation. Put out a compilation. Now, from my understanding, your first song that was ever on the radio was called "Much Love." That was your first song that was ever on the radio.
Yeah.
How did that feel, when you was like, yo, my shit on the radio? I mean, I don't know if you were that excited, but please explain to me the feeling.
The crazy shit about it, slightly maybe if before this, when they played it, it was the day my first daughter was being born, like November 14th, 91 or something like that, or 92. She born in 92. You know what I mean? So I'm on my way to the hospital to see her in the afternoon, like 4 in the afternoon, and that shit come on the radio. You know what I mean? So the double excitement. You know what I mean? Crazy shit. Yeah, that kind of shit, man. Yeah, in a real way. I'm 18 at the time. Yeah. So yeah, I'm real young. Yeah, but I knew a lot of old heads. Rest in peace to Ernest the Night Prince. Shouts out to Mike B. Williams. Todd Sterling was the old heads that were behind me. Between they own independent label at the time and the radio station.
Was this before you got on with C Loc?
Yeah, right before, a year or two prior to that, somewhere in yeah.
Okay.
I told him one of them tapes. Y'all know if he remember that. And I caught him coming home. You know, we was out there doing our thing. You know what I mean? So
Out
he
the trunk.
getting, yeah. Well, I'm saying, you know, streetwise, before the rap, we selling records. You know, we
Okay,
was getting
okay.
money. We in the spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we get money the best way we know how.
Yeah, that part. So you know, I catch him like that. Everybody, you know, them guys, you know, and and the apartments right down the street from where, you know, off my block, you know, with big guys, and they'll spin with me, you know what I mean? So we doing our thing, getting the guapo, you know what I mean? And about a year or so after that, you know, he presented that he was, you know, had that label, was doing the album, and, you know, that I want to come through and check it out. And, you know, we caught up with each other from that. We'll see each other in the hood, you know what I mean? On the what's up and on the hustle shit, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I didn't know he still was fucking with music like that. You see what I'm saying? And he didn't know I was. Oh yeah, man, I ain't never heard. You know, somewhere in middle school, he went to a different high school than I did. So we separated. So as kids, you know what I mean? I'm from the same neighborhood that he from, born and raised. Then I moved like to the east side of town. You see what I'm saying? So I was like double raised at 11 and 85. I'm born 74, by 85. I'm on the east side of the city. You see what I'm saying? And come up that way, but we went to the same middle school, so we wasn't in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? And after middle school, of course, wherever his buses, you know what I mean? All that kind of shit was taking
Yeah,
place.
wasn't no cell phones. You had to like remember motherfuckers' phone numbers. You know, the shit. You lucky if you got cable. You know, we talking about TVs with the hanger with the tick 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 tick. Yeah, yes sir. You got about 4 channels and shit.
That's it. A lot of channels, but 2 come on, 2, 3. Yeah, real shit. But yeah, you know, in that time, man, so we separated high school while we got back in our later teenage years. And, you know, the rest history pretty much for that and C Loc.
Yes, sir. Cause you know, I text you earlier, like, man, I'm trying to find this much love. I want to hear this shit. Like, I've been listening to your shit all night. I'm trying to find where can I, but like, as you saying, it's so predated to this digital shit now. Like, dog, you had to be there. Like,
I'll tell you something about me. Ever since a kid, I done moved from here to there, a lot of places. And normally my mama keep my records, demo tapes and all that. A few of my homies, I'll lose that shit in travel. You see what I'm saying? Moving around and just certain shit I try to keep and never lose. So a lot of shit, yeah, I'm talking to one of my homeboys now. He got to go through his shit to see if they got it. I had so many records, an underground record that was never internationally birthed record since 11 years old. So like I said, when you look at that demographic, you know what I mean? That's a great body of work. Yeah, ultimately.
Yeah. You know, like at this point, they'd be like vintage historical pieces to your legacy.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna move forward for a little bit from there. So from my understanding, after you got with C Loc,
yeah,
you did the How You Do That song. How You Do That there.
Yeah.
This is before Masterpiece. For anybody understand? I want to, from my understanding, you did it. Y'all put it out like '96.
Yes, sir. Exactly that. Yeah, man.
And I guess the song was so motherfucking jamming, which it is.
Yeah.
That once it caught P's ear, and you know, this is probably like right around the time I think he might have put out Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
And about it, like, you know, he's on his ascension.
Yeah, right there.
When he heard your shit, and I guess him being the executive that he is, he was coming out with the I'm About It movie.
Yeah.
He got you, I guess y'all collaborated, you, him, and C Loc, because I guess it was under C Loc's record label.
Yeah, it made perfect sense.
He pretty much remixed your song and put it on the I'm About It soundtrack. That's the first time I heard it.
Okay, dig. Okay.
And I'm gonna just say this as a fan. At that time, I was DJing.
Yeah.
So I remember buying the vinyl of I'm About It.
Yes, sir.
The cover work was attractive. You know what I'm saying? Just on the soundtrack. I remember on there, what's some of my favorite shit on that? Meal Ticket.